Welcome back to Shaking But Not Stirred. I'm here, day one after Botox injections, and I failed y'all miserably. I didn't record the appointment. I kind of figured just walking in there with the camera would probably alert my doctor that I'm a little crazy, and he doesn't need that crap. So I didn't. But if you're interested in hearing about Botox and my experience, my second good experience with Botox, stay tuned because that's what I'm going to get into. And we're going to talk about my fears, what it's like, what it feels like, the injection itself, and some tips to get through it without freaking out too bad. Oh my goodness, it is raining. Stay tuned. Alright, let's try this again. I have been messing with my Nikon for like half an hour and it doesn't want to work. So apparently we're going to go with the smart camera, or smartphone again, which isn't the best camera, but it'll work. Alright, so Botox. Oh, do I hate talking about this because I had my own issue with it in the beginning. I read at the bottom of a Botox commercial that ALS can happen. It's a rare side effect, but you can wind up with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, from Botox. And there's been a few cases where that happened. So I've been leery to do Botox because I already have the sister disease of ALS. Why would we tempt ALS to happen? That's a good question, and I'm not really sure what is the right answer. So I'm miserable. I decided to go for my second Botox appointment that actually worked out pretty well for me. So far anyway, is what I could say. It needs a couple weeks to really set in. But day one, I'm already not doing the clubfoot walk up the steps. So that's pretty impressive if you ask me. But let's get to the whole process and what it's like. I wanted to film it, but even my doctor said he was nervous about doing my lower legs yesterday, that he was afraid I was going to lose all my strength and not be able to walk, and he didn't want to do that. And that's a sign of a good doctor, somebody that doesn't want to pad their pockets with Botox money like my other doctor did when I didn't have Medicaid and it wasn't covered, so I'd have to pay like $900 for some migraine Botox and Botox in my back and my legs just to walk, and I couldn't walk after she did it. She did way too much Botox, so I was a little leery to see this new doctor up in Aurora, Denver. Well, Aurora, it's kind of outside Denver, at the University Hospital at the Movement Disorder Center. So this guy should know what he's talking about, and he's worked with Dr. Fink, so he should be like top of the line research doctor, right? So I trusted him, and he was very good. First time we did it, he told me we're doing the lowest amount of Botox that he could possibly do in my hamstrings and the lower muscle, or not lower, but smaller muscle that goes kind of hand in hand with the hamstrings. I was having this issue where if I sat down, my legs would shoot out right in front of me, and I couldn't sit down if I had to pee. Like, my legs would start shaking and I couldn't bend the knees, and I'd pee all over myself, which is lovely when you're 34 years old and should be potty trained and you're peeing on the floor. Not attractive. So I told him, I was like, listen, that worked beautifully. I could sit down. I didn't fall as much. But I think maybe a little bit more would probably work better. So this appointment, we talked about it. I told him that I didn't feel the Botox the last time he injected it until it wore off, which is pretty impressive that I didn't feel dead legs or like I couldn't move. I felt pretty dang good. I didn't fall very much in the 3 months since I had it done previously. That's always a good sign, right? No falls. We're all going for no falls. But it was nice because I could feel the pain in other parts of my legs, not other sorts, but other parts of my legs. So I knew the Botox was taking away some of that pain in my hamstrings. But that was basically all I noticed was, okay, my thighs no longer hurt, but everything else hurts like a mofo. Well, time went on, I got used to pain in the lower of the legs and just that. Well, once it wore off, let me tell you what, I felt that shit. Like, I felt my legs completely tense up. It felt like I had a magnet in the bottom of my feet and I was stuck to the floor. Like, sorry that I shake so much. I don't have my tripod on, but I was shaking with every footstep, kind of like I'm shaking right now. But it was ridiculous, and I didn't walk probably 2 days before I went for my second Botox appointment. I had the wheelchair outside my bedroom door, ready to go if I had to get across the basement or do that kind of stuff. So, I can't say it was bad, but when it went away, it was bad, is what I should say. Is that when it wore off, I could tell. And that's huge, like, to be able to tell from one day to the next that your muscle deadening stuff is no longer working, and now all your muscles are working and fighting against you, which is just annoying. But anyway, at any rate, let's talk about Dr. Kearns and how great Dr. Kern, not Kearns, Kern, I say it like Sonics. Some people know what I'm talking about when I say that. Anyway, Dr. Kern is very good. He explains everything he's doing, and the first time he did it, we started at the very lowest dose that we could do. So this time I knew we could step it up a little bit, and I probably wouldn't be miserable. The needles are awful. So I saved y'all from watching that because they are like 6-inch needles. And they sit there and they fill it right in front of you. Squirt that little bit out to make sure it's filled up. And he started with the front of my legs, which is the very bottom. No, not very bottom. It's like where your calves are. And he was trying to fix my clubfoot, which, if you don't know what clubfoot is, count yourself lucky. Clubfoot is when your feet turn in like that. And every time I walk upstairs, my clubfoot comes out. I never had it before growing up, so when it shows up, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So I asked him this time, I was like, let's fix that clubfoot. And he was a little leery to do it, but he did it. And those injections weren't so painful, like it was just like a poke, but I had to move my foot inward as he injected it to kind of deaden that muscle from doing that. Crazy, right? Well, then I had to flip over, and he does 2 more injections in each one of my thighs, the hamstring and that littler muscle. Those ones always bruise, so I have 2 little bruises on the back of my thighs right now, which, whatever. If I can walk, that's nothing compared to not being able to walk. So I guess I'm making this video to not deter people from Botox. Botox can be a lifesaver as long as it's not done in excess. Remind your doctor that you do not need to pay their bills with your Botox, that you just want to walk. You want to be able to sit down. You want to not pee down your legs when you're standing at the toilet. Other than that, I say do it. A lot of people, before I decided it was good, tried to convince me of it, and I argued that I don't want to do it. And I was really hurting myself, I think. Now that I've had 2 successful injections, I probably will be doing it for the rest of my life, as long as my insurance stays good. But if you're debating Botox as opposed to a pump, the baclofen pump that I have avoided for 10 years now, I suggest you do that. Like, go try Botox first before you start installing hardware in your body. That's just my humble opinion, because I'm afraid of falling with hardware in my body and ripping it back out. That it leaves me to only go with medication and Botox. But my medication, to be quite honest, is medical marijuana, and then on occasion a muscle relaxer or an anti-anxiety pill. And Ampyra has been huge in communicating to my brain and all that. So I guess this video is just to encourage anybody thinking about Botox to give it a whack. Try it. Maybe go in with a little trepidation like I did. But tell your doctor your concerns, and if they're good doctors, they will support you and explain everything and really want you to come back and do it again. Because a good doctor knows that they should prove to you how great it is. So it was a short video. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of blabbering, kind of like my life. Maybe sometime I'll get brave enough to look at the needles as they go into my legs and that stuff, and maybe record a video. Kind of doubt it, because from what I hear, other people don't want to see it either. But it is a valuable thing. Please do not be so afraid to help yourself with Botox. Like, it can be a difference between night and day, or at least it has been for me. Anyway, God bless. Keep being positive. Keep encouraging others, really, is what I want to say. Don't ever get discouraged for how slow you go. Just keep moving. That's half the battle. And that's it for my follow-up of Shaking But Not Stirred. Sorry it was so short and so shaky and all over the place, but that's kind of how I am. Anyway, God bless. Love you. Bye.